video, I'm going to look at ASA/ISA 220. And 220 is quite important because it looks at quality control. And there's certainly been a lot in the press recently about the quality of audits. So remember that our Australian standards are internationally harmonised. So if you're an international student and you're using ISAs, then this video will apply to you just as well. Now remember, we also have standards on quality control. So ASQC or ISQCs on quality control, and APES 110 also has specific requirements about quality. They actually refer you back to ASA 220. Now, why is audit quality important? Well, the idea of an audit and audit standards is that everybody is supposed to be doing the same minimum level of an audit. So if we have audit quality, I'll draw this on a scale, audit quality, okay, and here are different companies. Well, what the standards are supposed to do is that the ISAs, ASAs are meant to give us a minimum basic level of quality. So all audits should be at least at this level. Sometimes you might have audits that are of a slightly higher quality. The research shows us a couple of different things. The sorts of things that might lead to higher quality audits could be industry specialists. So if you're using an industry specialist, that could lead to a higher quality audit. Or if you're using a Big Four firm, quite often their audits are of higher quality. So ASQC and ISA 210 are here to make sure that we know what is the minimum level of things we should be doing for quality control, as well as following generally our ASA. So this is especially about quality control within the audit firms and on the specific audit engagement. So let's skip through to our contents, and we'll have a quick overview of our contents. Nothing really unusual here. The objective of the standard is to promote audit quality. Some requirements, remember these are the legally enforceable components that we have to do. And then our explanatory material is just that other stuff that will help us interpret what's up here in the requirements. Now in my videos, I don't go into the explanatory material, I just go into the requirements. There's our conformity with international standards. So you'll see here, we are compliant with ISA 220 on quality control. So let's jump into the introduction. All right, so the introduction is very clear. This standard deals with specific responsibilities of the auditor regarding quality control procedures for the audit of a financial report. So what sort of quality control does the firm need to have at their firm level, at the individual engagement? And it also, I mentioned ASQC 1 as well. Now our objective of our standard is always really critical. Go back if you're wondering what a standard is about. The objective is always critical. Implement quality control procedures for the engagement that provide the auditor with reasonable assurance that we are following the auditing standards and then we're issuing the report in appropriate circumstances. Now this is because audits are done by teams of people. Now lots of people working together, we need to make sure that we have good policies and procedures to make sure that everybody in that team is doing the right thing. And we have some definitions. You can read through those definitions yourself. Within the standard, there's lots of information there on the definitions, but let's jump into the requirements. All right, remember the requirements here in Australia are the parts that are legally enforceable. So there has to be leadership. We have an engagement partner, a partner who's responsible for signing the audit, and they are responsible for the overall audit quality. So if something goes wrong in the audit, that partner is going to be legally responsible. Okay, so it's really important. There's a lot of pressure on that audit partner to get it right. The second area is ethical requirements. So it says we have to comply with our ethical requirements, and those ethical requirements for us are going to be APES 110. So they have to make sure that they follow the ethical requirements. Now, it goes into some detail here, specifically about independence, because remember, independence is the cornerstone of an audit. So we should, as the partner, look at independence and make sure that we follow the requirements in APES 110 and in Australia also our Corporations Act. All right, so we have to follow all of those particular requirements. Now, we have to check that everybody is independent, even if you're using other firms, that if we have a breach, we know what to do, and if we have threats to independence, then we have to reduce them by applying safeguards. Those safeguards, of course, come from APES 110. And I'll make another video on APES 110. It's a mega huge standard. Now, what if we have client engagements? Well, if we accept or continue an existing engagement, then we need to make sure that we've followed all of the requirements from ASA, ISA 210 about establishing a relationship. Now, if we scroll up, I'm not going to go through every single paragraph, but I'm going to go through key ones. So here, assignment of engagement teams. This is really important about making sure that we have the right personnel. They are appropriately competent. They've got the right industry knowledge. So that skill could be related to a particular industry. They might need to have a certain amount of audit experience in general to meet those requirements. So we have to have the right people on the team. We shouldn't accept a job if we can't. Then when we do the audit, we have to make sure that when we have the performance of the audit or the execution, when we're executing the audit or we're going out and we're collecting evidence, we do a few specific things. Number one, the partner is responsible for supervising, directing, supervising, and performance of the audit. So they have to make sure that the right plan is in place. They supervise managers, managers supervise senior auditors supervise junior auditors. And of course, I mentioned they give the right report. There has to be a process of review. All right. So this is a really important process where someone senior checks a junior staff member's work. Oops, I can't spell member there. So this is really important because of the teamwork aspect. All right, so that means junior auditor's work is checked by the senior auditor's work is checked by the manager, manager's work might be checked by the partner. Now those reviews could be looking at specific documents and saying, okay, what sort of work is this person doing? Are they doing the right thing? Yep, they're doing the right thing. Or it could even be an interview where two people sit down, perhaps with a little beverage each, hot cup of tea, and they talk about what has been going on in the audit. One thing that was common, popular at PwC where I was this review by interview approach. And we should also have consultation. So if there is something that needs to be talked about with the team, we should be communicating with that team. And this is really important. So communication between all of the team members about the audit. The partner just doesn't leave them to it. They actually have to go and set a plan, check in regularly about how things are going, what work is being done. Now, once we've done the audit, there needs to be a quality control review. All right, so somebody should check that there is an engagement control quality reviewer. Now, typically, this is a second partner. Different partner who checks that everything has been done in accordance with the ISA ASAs. So their job is to perform an objective evaluation of the judgments made by the team and the conclusions to make sure that they're appropriate. All right. So what they're going to do is they're going to do a few different things. They're going to talk with the partner. They're going to look at documents, including audit documentation, to make sure it's all done correctly in accordance with policy and with the standards. All right, to make sure that there are no loopholes. This is like a second check. Now, this is my very poor attempt at a magnifying glass, but that's what that is right there. So we have to have this second pair of eyes to check. Now, if there are differences, what happens if two partners disagree? Well, then they might need to follow the firm's policies and procedures to figure out and resolve that difference of opinion. So we have all of these procedures and this quality checking. Now, what the firm should also do is a monitoring process. So they need to check that their own policies and procedures are operating effectively all the time. So that might be some form of, let me just change my color pen here, audit firm regular inspections. All right, so that could be regular inspections by some sort of quality control unit. It could be peer review of audits by another firm. It could even be inspection by a professional association. Now, the next section I want to talk about is really, really critical because auditors spend a lot of time doing this, and this is documentation. Now, without documentation, there's no proof that we did anything. So for the auditor, documentation is proof of our work and supporting our decisions or our judgments. So if I don't have this documentation in place, there's no proof that we actually did anything. So what sort of things should we document? And there is actually a whole audit standard on this. ASA 230, which is the next video in this series, will talk about documentation, but important things are, like, we have to say why we've made our conclusions. How did we make those conclusions? How did we come about with our evidence for that? And the quality control reviewer should actually document their work as well. So now we move on to the explanatory material, which I'm not going to get into, but you can certainly look at the explanatory material. I've got a link in the comments to where you can see the standards. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions about quality control, please pop them in the comments. Otherwise, we'd really appreciate a like of the video if you found it useful. Click to subscribe and certainly check out the other videos in our Auditing Standards series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.